Hello there. Welcome to the news on Non-Film Flicks. I am Valerie, Aligbe. We start off with the headlines. Buhari approves directors for AFDB, ISDB. Senate backs NCAA on grounding of Azman Airline. Kaduna shuts schools in Kajuru, local government. Troops kill more terrorists, capture weapons in Borno. Economic diversification at the forefront of Okonjo-Iweala visit. Nigeria inflation surges to 34-month high. Nigerians to pay 6 naira 98 kobo for every USSD transaction. Revenue dropped by 40% according to the NIS. In a related development, the NIS recounts immigration stats in 2020. Senate to probe 6.25 billion naira NDDC palliative scam. 3 dead, 183 hospitalized from unknown ailment in Kano. Oil spill ravages Delta community, 1 feared dead. And now to the news in full. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Oyebode Oyetunde as the Executive Director for Nigeria at the African Development Bank in Côte d'Ivoire. According to the Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, Oyetunde was the former Senior Special Assistant to the President on Finance and Fiscal Policy, as well as legal matters, in the Office of the Chief of Staff to the President. The President also approved the appointment of Mahmoud Issa Dutse as the Executive Director on the board of the Islamic Development Bank in Saudi Arabia. Nigeria purchased 7.65% of the capital stock of the ISDB in 2010. The acquisition entitled the country to a single country constituency as against the previous 11-country constituency to which Nigeria previously belonged to. It also entitles the country to a permanent seat on the Bank Executive's Board of Directors. The Senate yesterday threw its weight behind the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority (NCAA) over the operation suspension of Azman Airline. According to the chairman, Senate Committee on Aviation, Smart Adeyemi, the decision of the NCAA to suspend the operations of Azman Airline was tenable, given the maintenance and safety issues emanating from the investigation of the NCAA. According to him, the lifting of suspension of the airline would be determined pending the conclusion of a full financial, safety, security, operations and maintenance audit of the airline. We recall that the aviation regulatory body had in the early hours of March the 16th suspended operations of Azman Airline for failure to comply with aviation safety guidelines and adherence to maintenance practice of its crafts. Moving on, the Kaduna State government has ordered the closure of all public and private schools in Kajuru local government area of the state following the recent spate of events in the abduction of several students across the state. The government, in a memo just recently released, ordered all schools in Kajuru local government area to be shut down with immediate effect, noting that the closure became imperative as a result of the prevailing security situation in the area. We recall that there has been an increased rate of bandit attacks and kidnappings on secondary schools in the state, which prompted cries of increased security and raised questions about the safety of the children. The Nigerian army says its troops of Operation Lafia Dole have eliminated more Boko Haram and ISWAP terrorists, as well as captured more arms and ammunition in an encounter in the Dikwa axis of Borno State. Joined by troops of 81 Task Force Battalion, the Civilian Joint Task Force, and Vigilante in the Axis, the troops conducted an aggressive fighting patrol, swiftly engaging them in a fierce firefight, killing 6 of them and recovering several weapons, ammunition, and sundry items. In other updates, the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions has said it would extend its 6.2 billion naira COVID-19 palliative fund probe to the 9 governors of the Niger Delta region who were said to have collected 100 million naira each from the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC). The panel had on February 22 resolved that the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, be contacted by the executive arm of government through the Senate leadership to produce Ponde and his team before the Ethics Committee on March 9. The Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, says there is an urgent need to diversify Nigeria's economy in order to make it sustainable and to reduce unemployment. while receiving Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Director General of the World Trade Organization (WTO), Emefiele called for the support of the WTO to enable Nigeria move away from its present oil-based economy to non-oil exports. Earlier, Okonjo-Iweala had called on the Nigerian authorities to fast-track the process of economic diversification and capacity building across sectors. She challenged the government to take steps to improve trade logistics so as to improve foreign interest in the country. In more business news, a report by the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) has shown that Nigeria's inflation rate has climbed to a 34-month high, rising to 17.33% in February from 16.47% in January 2021. According to the NBS, food inflation rose to 21.79% in February from 20.57% in January, while core inflation jumped to 12.38% in February from 11.85% in the previous month. The country's inflation has been on the rise since the country shut its land borders. Nigeria's unemployment rate rose to 33.3% in the 3 months through December, up from 27.1% in the second quarter of 2020, which is the last period that the agency released labor force statistics. Meanwhile, the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) says bank customers are now required to pay a flat fee of 6.98 kobo for every financial transaction completed using the Unstructured Supplementary Service Data Service (USSD). The new pricing format replaces the former per-session billing structure, ensuring a much cheaper average cost for customers to enhance financial inclusion. The resolution is the conclusion of a lingering dispute between banks and mobile network operators on an appropriate pricing model. Operators have in the past threatened to cancel the service while claiming the banks were owing operators up to 42 billion naira in outstanding payments. The Nigeria Immigration Service (NIS) says its revenue dropped by almost 40% in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the Controller General of the agency, Mohammed Babandede, while the NIS generated 62.6 billion naira and $1.8 billion in 2019, the figures dropped to 49.6 billion naira and $20 million in 2020. The NIS boss stated that in spite of the challenges, the service recorded a 99.5% budgetary release, which was its highest in 10 years. In related news, the Nigeria Immigration Service (NIS) says it deported 64 irregular immigrants and repatriated 1,132 others in 2020, according to the annual report of the agency recently released. According to the Assistant Controller General, Planning, Research and Statistics, Bimbola Ojo, 3,112 Nigerians were refused departure from the country, while 3,563 foreigners were denied entry into the country in the year under review due to the COVID-19 pandemic. However, Ojo said the agency recorded a 68.7% decrease in the total number of immigrants in the country in the year under review, further disclosing that the number of asylum seekers in 2020 reduced due to the pandemic. The Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions has said it would extend its 6.2 billion naira COVID-19 palliative fund probe to the 9 governors of the Niger Delta region, who were said to have collected 100 million naira each from the Niger Delta Development Commission and DDC. The panel had on February 22 resolved that the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, be contacted by the executive arm of government through the Senate leadership to produce Pandey and his team before the Ethics Committee on March 9. And finally, an elderly man has been confirmed dead due to inhalation of gas from a spillage in the Nigerian Petroleum Development Company and El Crest Pipeline at Sekileu and Polobubo communities in Warri North local government area of Delta State. According to local residents, the spill is still spreading to several adjoining Ijaw communities and disrupting livelihoods in the affected areas. They urged the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, the Department of Petroleum Resources, and the Ministry of Environment to investigate the spill to ascertain its cause, send relief materials to the communities, and compensate the victims. With that, we come to the end of our lineup today. Do join us on our next post for more updates. Thanks to you for joining us. Do remember to subscribe and hit that thumbs up. Have a splendid day ahead.